then really what's left is just to tell you congrats for sticking through the course and asking really good questions and challenging me to level up while I'm teaching, which I feel like I did. So thank you for that. But also just to let you know that this was just a foundational course of like how to build something, how to build an API with Node and Express. And there's just still so much more for all of us to learn. Like even me, people show me stuff, or I'll get on GitHub or Hacker News and I'll see something like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that you can even do that. That's so amazing. So there's still so much to learn. But now that you have that foundation, you have the context, which for me is super critical to have, because if you have the context, you can ask the questions, you know what to look for, you know what to ask. So what I would say is next time you go reach for a backend as a service like Supabase or Firebase or any backend as a service that you typically use, don't. Challenge yourself and build the API out yourself. Do that until you're so bored with building APIs that you want to go back to using a service, right? Not because you don't know how to build an API, but because you just don't feel like doing it because you've done it so many times. That's when you go back and use those things, right? So I challenge you to do that. There's more to APIs. We've just talked about things like JSON and stuff like that, but APIs can have image uploads. They can have background jobs. They can do pretty crazy stuff, right? You can also use different types of design patterns for APIs like GraphQL, gRPC, tRPC, we talked about that one. So challenge yourself, go try those different things. Maybe try Prisma with Mongo next time and see what that looks like. Just go through the flow and work through those problems. Something that I used to do is I used to go on Dribbble and I would like find Dribbble. I don't know if you've ever been to Dribbble before, but let me show you Dribbble. Dribbble. So Dribbble with 3 Bs. I used to go on Dribbble and I would type in like, you know, to-do app. And I would just find like to-do apps that were like probably a little outside of my design, my ability, and I would try to make it. I would literally just like, I would click on this app, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make this. And I would do all the front end work, and then I would do all the back end work to make this work. And I would like, you know, give myself a week or two just to see how far I can get. I've probably done like 20 of these in my early days, just getting really good at making these apps and building out the APIs for them. It's like something that's never gonna scale and needs to support thousands of users, but it was you would go through enough of the parts that you know enough of what to do. And it does show like in interviews and things like that. It gives you the experience. So, and it's pretty fun too. So that's something that I would do. But yeah, for the most part, you did it. You know Node, you know Express at this point. You have enough context. So from here on out, you just got to keep building more and develop that experience. And then also teach other people. When you teach other people, that's when you start to really solidify the things that were a little blurry before, but now you're very sure. Because I can promise you that happened to me over the last 2 days. I was like, okay, now I get it, right? So trust me, that's definitely what you want to do. And yeah, if there's any questions, now's the time. Yes.
Just one general question. Are there any common design architectures that are prevalent with building APIs, similar to like a model view controller architecture?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is still around. I mean, I guess Express is its own architecture in a way. If I had to name that, it would be called, I don't know, the Connect architecture, I guess, if I had to name Express's architecture. Yeah, I mean, so for instance, Nest.js is like a very popular, brand new, well, not brand new, but relatively new server framework that does MVC. It's TypeScript, it's MVC. If you ever use Angular, it looks exactly like Angular, but for a server. So I've actually never tried it because I'm not into the whole MVC. You know, I'm not. It's just too heavy for me. But if you're into that, if you come from like a Java background or from a Angular background, you might like this. I mean, it's pretty cool. But for the most part, what I've seen, it's typically like something hardcore MVC like this, or it's just like just based off Express. It's just like a derivative of Express, at least in Node, from my experience. Okay, well, if you have any other questions, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm usually the most active on there. If you email me, I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back to you. My email is drowning. I don't know how I'm going to get to it, but yeah, hit me up on Twitter. Super responsive on there. And yeah, thanks for attending the course.